traitors, reveal yourselves.
Oh my gosh, it's you guys.
It's you.
I should have known. So, fellow traitors or traitor heads, traitor faithfuls,
Faithful traitors.
Faithful traitors.
Ooh.
I swear to God.
Yo, that was crazy, man. I was like, this guy's diabolical.
Bob had no chill. Bob was just like fighting for his life and his soul. All right. So we're watching Traitors. 4 episodes in. We're loving it. I think we're all loving it. What do you guys think so far?
It's good. It's so good. Can't even pick like a top 3 reasons why I love it, because there's so many reasons why I love this show. Like, addicted to it.
Like, for me, it kind of blends in all my favorite aspects of all the other shows I love. Eric's gone. Where'd he go? Can you find Eric?
He's back.
There he is.
No, they're on to me. You guys know I'm a traitor.
I was doing like a.
You were just in the closet. And that thing. That's all.
I'm coming out.
Like that kind of.
Fact.
Man.
Let me pay tribute to the GOAT.
Oh,
there we
Ash
go.
Ketchum. Ash Ketchum is here.
Now I feel in my
Ash
element.
Ketchum. We saw what?
So I could.
Ketchum, right?
No, what's his name? Boston Rob. Although
Boston Rob.
chill with the Boston, but just Rob. Yeah, sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was saying it just kind of blends in all my favorite elements of all the game. Like, I love the challenge. I love the mole, and the mole is pretty similar to Traitors in a lot of aspects. So it kind of like blended both those shows together, and I don't know, I love it. The production, amazing. The music is good. But I think what really sets the show apart is Ari, the host. This guy is, I don't know. He is perfect for the show. Perfect. And I wouldn't have said that if I just saw him regularly or you know, because from what I watched him on was a different show. And he was a completely different character. But this seems like more his element. It's more him. And he just, like, from the witty banter, the quips, everything is just, it just makes the show like that much better. So I think it's just very well produced. I think it's thought out. I think each season also gets better, because any suggestions I had that I was like, man, it'd be better if they did this or did this. Like, I think the first season I was like, man, they shouldn't let you know who the traitor is at the end, at the whatever ceremony at the end, the fire ceremony at the end. Because if you know they're a traitor, then you could kind of like, okay, well, I guess there's no more traitors if you already got out like 3 of them. So they took that out this season, which I think is amazing, because then it keeps it more suspenseful. So, I mean, I don't know. The show is amazing, man. I think it's just amazing all around.
Nora, what do you think?
I love it. I think the fashion has gotten, I mean, the first season was good, but now they're all playing into it. They wear the fun outfits. They come prepared. I love the host. I think he is hilarious. I love the psychology and the sociology of the whole game. From start to finish, you have to be on and you're second guessing. So, like, when all the players are saying, like, oh, this is harder than anything I've ever done before, harder than Survivor, which in my head, out of all the game shows, the challenge, Big Brother, anything, I would think Survivor is the hardest, because you're living, like, you're roughing it out. You know, no showers, no way to wash your hair, no food. But they all say this is the hardest, probably because of that mind game it's constantly playing. I love that we have little Miss, is it Naya, the little dog. She's so cute. I love that she's become part of the show. I just love it so far. And I like that the challengers and everybody can be from so many different shows. So like this season, I was like, wow, I really don't know a lot of people, but they give just enough insight that you can kind of just jump in with them and don't overdo it. We don't get like 40 minutes spending on somebody's life story and crap. Just like Zac Efron's brother. We just learned that that was his brother. I had no idea who he was, you know, and I didn't care. I didn't need to know. It was good enough what they gave us, the little tidbit about him, until Dolores this episode's like, oh, and your brother's a great actor. And we were like, actor? Who? You know, like, so.
Yeah, I definitely like the competitors on there. Man, they come from all different shows, so they all approach the game a little bit differently. Versus if you get everyone on the challenge or on Big Brother, they all kind of know what game they're playing. Here, they're all just like, some are going to be a little more dramatic, some are going to be a little more open, some are going to be a little sneakier, and so it makes a nice mix of strategizing and all of that. But they're also all great characters, or most of them are great characters. They know their personalities, they know how to play it up. You know, we're big challenge heads, so when Wes came out with the cleverness, the friendliness, but then as he starts to move, you can see the sneakiness comes out. That like comes out from everyone. I love the housewives on the show because they can get catty. They have the jokes on everybody because they live in that world, and that's their way of playing. So I love that. And the producers aren't afraid to take risks or just throw something new out there. They're gonna like, screw it. Today we're gonna have 10 shields. Today we're gonna have 3 shields. You know, today you're gonna have to get your list like this. We're gonna put people in coffins. Like, try new things. Some of it works better than others, but it keeps us on our toes, and it's always interesting. So, man, this show has got the game in a chokehold right now. I think it's the GOAT. Like, you know, yeah.
100%. I agree. I think because they're so new, they probably watch a lot of these. I mean, they're coming from all different reality shows, so they studied the game and they picked what worked best from each genre, and I think, and they just put it together, and they did it masterfully. I think, like you said, it's goated. It's great. They're not afraid to just try new things because it is new. So they have the liberty to try things. They have a formula, but that formula could be, you know, like you said, throw this in. I love the addition of the like live kills or on the spot kills where they actually have to be sneaky and do Traitors things in front of everybody. I think that was an amazing addition. It keeps it more interesting. It keeps everybody on their toes.
It's like real life Clue.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I'm a big fan. So,
well, you know, it's kind of crazy. The money at the end, obviously everybody's like, that would be nice, but at a certain point, I don't think people are playing for the money. They're literally playing like, I don't want somebody to get one over on me. We got to find these people. It's like, you don't even hear about, obviously they go hard for the prize pot and stuff, but that's not really the focus of the show. It really just brings out, like you said, Nora, the psychology and sociology of it. Is like, I want to know who's telling the truth and I want to know who's lying. And that's almost more important than anything else.
Yeah. I
think something they did that the challenge lacks so much anymore is, and it's probably because they do have people from different shows and they're worried about too strong of alliances. So right at the beginning of the season, they're like, you know what? Make everybody turn on each other. Now, you might still stick it out with your bestie or whatever, but right when they put them on that boat and said, well, if you get off, you don't get a shield. You know, like, it's to really start shaking things up the moment they get there. You barely know these people, and now you have to trust them and get off the boat. So, and if you get off, are you a traitor? Why would you get off the boat? So I don't know. It's good.
But if you stay on, are you just being selfish because you're a traitorous style person?
Exactly.
That's why, like, some other shows, maybe you start to get an idea of how you play it. Here, I have no idea. Like, do you want to be out there and hunt traitors down? Do you want to be quiet, but then you look suspicious? I don't even know.
Yeah, and I think every game is created to kind of make you second guess everything. Like this last challenge with the heads, if you win the shield if you put your heads up, so you need to be greedy, because at the same time, if you're a traitor or faithful, you want to appear that you want. Anybody wants the shield. The traitors don't need it, but if I was a traitor, I would always go for the shield for the most part, just so it looks like I'm scared and I'm nervous and I need that shield for some kind of protection, you know. So it kind of second guesses everything you do in the game. There's people like arguing and look at, well, he's brushing to get his head up there. Why is he doing it? Or he's playing too lax. He's not even trying to get his, you know, a shield. So they're watching out for everything. So I think it's like, I don't know. I can see how people go a little crazy in this game, because you always have to be aware.
Yeah. So let's go into some of the highlights. So we're talking about the first 4 episodes. So anybody watching, there's gonna be spoilers for the first 4. So be fair warned. What are some of the highlights from the first 4 episodes as far as moments, people coming in? Like, what stood out?
I'll start with the beginning, like when they were all coming in and they were talking. I don't think we saw too much of that in the previous season. Maybe we did, where they showed them before they got there to the actual house. I think this was the first season, right? Because usually they show us when they're already all there, lined up. But we got to see them talk, and the theatrics were in full effect even on their way there. They had the people in the black robes out, which was real ominous, freaking them out already, playing with their heads. And then one of my favorite parts in the beginning was just how they had all those people lined up, and then you're wondering like, okay, what's gonna happen? Why are they all lined up? And then they leave, and that one person stays. And I was like, that's fire. I was like, that's dope. And then just out the beginning, throw them into a situation where they have to kind of start seeing how the game operates. Do you want to let this guy in? Do you not want to let him in? If you let him in, you have to kill somebody. So, I mean, it was a great opportunity to get rid of somebody you didn't trust. But, I think it was just so well done with that. And I like how they did that. Like, it made me know that this season was going to be a great season, because first episode, first 10 minutes, they're already throwing them into a choice.
There's no relaxing. Like, right up front, they're like, oh, by the way, you want to kick somebody out? Because we have somebody ready to come right in. It's like, no chill. Alan is always on 100. He's like ready to step on some toes. Piggybacking off that moment, I thought having the 3 competitors in the cages at the end of that first episode, going to that second episode. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Wes, so I was happy to see him. Rob is a legend that I think is a name that I've always heard. Even if I don't even watch Survivor, but I know that guy. And then Derek from Big Brother also seems like he has a big reputation as a player. Like, it was good because, who knows what that means? Does it mean that, one of them are traitors? Does it mean that somebody else's space is going to get taken? Like, they just there's no reason to do it, really, like to introduce players like that, except why not, other than to throw more questions out there. So I thought that was cool.
I think a highlight for me was definitely when they picked, is it Carolyn, the traitor, the blonde?
Mm-hmm.
Carolyn? When he was walking, I was like, well, we know they're not going to make her one, because she's like, a little out there, like, and the fact that they did make her that, and I was like, what the hell are they thinking? Are they crazy? But now watching things unfold, I was like, no, this is like genius, because they really wanted to shake things up. I think they were getting too bored of traitors being too comfortable for too long. So they put such a weird group together to really start shaking things up, so we could even have more like drama and more things unfolding, So I'm interested to see if anyone will ever catch on to her, because, I mean, like they've already said, like, it couldn't be her. She's too, strange. It can't be her. They wouldn't pick her, but we'll see.
Yeah, because I think they learned from last season where they picked good traitors gameplay style. Like Dan from Big Brother, the housewife, I'm blanking, Phaedra, Parvati, I think it was, like, they picked people who were good traitors in terms of playing the game, but it was almost too good, where not that it was too hard, but it's just like, and it was interesting, but here they're just like, what if we throw people who are not necessarily on its face good traitors because of their demeanor? Doesn't make it harder or more interesting? And like, so far it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not First off, I was telling her, I was like, I can't believe they didn't put Wes on this season. Like, when it started, I was like, come on, man. I was like, Wes would be perfect for the game. They just had Johnny CT. I was like, come on, bring Wes. And then I was like, all right, it is what it is. And then when they brought him down with the hood, a little tear came down the eye. I was like, yes.
When he saw the beard.
Yeah, but I was hoping he was a traitor.
It's not too soon. I mean, like,
he could always be recruited. But
yeah, that's what I think they're really trying to shake it up this time is see, and I feel like we'll get another new twist with that. I really do. I would love to see if at some point, maybe not this season, because we're still, but when they need a new shake up, is keeping one of them hooded so we can't see who it is. Kind of like the mole. We never know in that one, like who the person is. You're kind of guessing along with the players. Only production knows. So it would be kind of cool so we could kind of guess at home too and see if we could figure out who this person is. I don't know how they would do it. Maybe they write in votes or something. I don't know, but
it would be fun to see the internet go crazy with like if you have one that's always hooded, like people saying it's like, oh, how tall is this person compared to like Alan, or how like wide are their shoulders? Is it a guy? Is it a woman? The way they walk, like the internet would go wild trying to sleuth who it is and like looking at everybody's actions. I think it would be fun if for once like they don't tell us who one of them is. I do like knowing who some of them are because I like judging are they a good traitor or not. But if they kept one a secret, it would be pretty fun.
Yeah,
I think that'd be like the perfect balance because it gives us something to look out for too. Like because one of my favorite thing of the mole was I want to find the mole and I want to be right as early as possible before I got to the end and we found out who it was. So that kept me interested. I'm like, I'm watching for things. What is he doing? What is she doing? How are they moving? Are they doing this on purpose? I think they would probably try that one season, maybe let one of them be hooded during deliberation. I think that'd be cool to see.
Yeah. Any other highlights so far going into like episodes 2, 3, and 4? Any roundtables that stood out? I love the roundtables. Like the roundtables.
I mean, they're all good.
Probably the best parts. I think Suri from season 1 demonstrated how the game should be played her season, and then it kind of changed up. But I'm a big Phaedra fan. I never heard about her until this show, and Nora told me specifically. She was like, first of all, she said Phaedra and CT are going to be extremely close. Like, first episode. And then she said, Phaedra, you're going to love Phaedra. And she was right about both of those things. Like, Phaedra, to me, in terms of, like, I don't know what to call it, but in terms of, like, watchability and just, like, intrigue, I think she was an amazing, I don't think she was an amazing traitor necessarily in the sense of the moves she made. But in terms of her, she kind of had everybody, liking her, and she was inconspicuous in a lot of ways, and nobody would have ever thought to have voted her until some things happened. And then her one-liners and her the way she just presented herself, I loved it. She was amazing. Phaedra is the GOAT in my opinion. So
she definitely has the it factor where like she didn't have it wasn't necessarily her words. People just followed her. And they trusted her because she has that gravitas. So, yeah, that she's definitely... Man, if she wouldn't have got stabbed in the back, I think she would have made it all the way her season. And it's something that I think these traitors are missing. I don't think they have somebody like Phaedra. I think they have people like that in the house, but I don't think they have a traitor like that.
Well, it was Rob, right? It was Rob the drag queen. Everybody loved Rob. Nobody really suspected
Bob.
Nobody really expected Bob except one person at first. What was his name? Dylan?
No, and then the other housewife too. Dylan, yes. And then the other housewife was like, I believe you, but I'm just not ready to vote him in, which is I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because she liked him. She liked him so much, so she didn't want. So that's what I'm saying. Like he had.
I was gonna say that's half the struggle I think in this game is when you like somebody too, and I mean that's what definitely like last season with Phaedra and Sheree. Sheree, that's her girl. I mean 20, 30 years of friendship. You don't want to put your best friend up saying they're a traitor. So, but then you start thinking like, damn.
But even like CT too.
Yeah.
Even they don't have the history, but he's just like, I don't see it. And he was pretty good at CT was pretty good at figuring it out, but Yeah.
It's hard, I think, when you like somebody to be like, well, damn, if they are and they're gone, whether they are or not, they're going to be leaving. And now I don't have them in the house. Like, who do I hang out with? Who do I talk to all day?
I think the roundtable that hit me hard was Tony going home and Rob kind of leading the charge on his fellow survivor player, because for one, I didn't think the evidence was that strong against Tony. It was one of those things, is like, I think you're kind of selfish, so you must be a traitor. And it's just like, I don't know. I think he was just trying to maybe go in a little too hard to save himself with the life shields, but he felt so betrayed, especially by a fellow survivor player, especially one who was a traitor, we know is a traitor, and he took it so hard. And I was just like, at first, I wasn't necessarily rooting for him, because he wanted to be a traitor so bad, and he was moving kind of hard in the game, but I felt the betrayal. I was like, damn, that hit.
To piggyback off, these survivor people have no chill, man. I can't trust none of them. What was it? Was her name Chandra from second season? No. Yeah, second season. She was survivor. She was Parvati's rival at the beginning. They didn't get along.
Yeah,
that one hit me because
Chandra.
Yeah,
she was like I think she knew Phaedra was a traitor. I think she knew how to inkling, and that's why she kind of stayed around the housewives. And for her to have got just got axed right before the end, I was like, damn, that hit, because she was a great competitor. You know, I think she would have made a good traitor, actually. And she was like, you should have made me traitor. Like, I would have protected you and this and this and that. And I was like, damn, I just felt a little bad, because I'm like, damn, she had a lot of potential. It's just she was, her bullshit detector was so good. But it's one of those things, like, in this game, it's hard when you have a name and you're so sure and you're right, but it like puts your game in danger to call out the traitors, because then they'll just murder you. Fergie too, right? Fergie was the guy who was just like, he's just gonna speak up, and when he did, they killed him. And Peter pals.
Yeah.
Peter was, I would say, you can't be too vocal, because you're gonna get axed. Like, if you're too vocal and you're calling out this person and calling that person, eventually, a traitor's gonna take you out.
Yeah, that's why I was like afraid for Dylan this season. Dylan Efron, I guess.
Yeah, Efron.
Yeah, like I almost call him Dylon. Imagine, like, Dylon. He was spitting hot fire that round table when he first went at Bob, and I was just like, if you miss, you're murdered. And I think he got lucky not to get killed that night, but they were like, it's very dangerous to put your neck out there to do those in those votes. So,
but he did something smart though. After he called out Bob, he went, like, Bob came up to him and he kind of like backtracked. You're like, oh, I don't think it's you anymore. I don't think it's you. You're proving me right that you're faithful. And I thought that was very smart, because he kind of brought down the star levels down from like 6 to like 1. So he kind of like skated under the ring, but I think it was very smart. I was worried because he was acting like Peter from the second season, when he was like so adamant and vocal and accusing, especially somebody so beloved like Bob. So I was like, he had to be careful. And I didn't think they were going to take Bob out this early, honestly.
Okay, so that was a highlight for me. Like, this last episode.
Oh, man. The best round table, I think.
But before that, okay, what was my man Bob doing? He's just calling out everybody. Like, he got to, that's another thing. Like, some people in this house will get so comfortable or so just vocal and not really thinking about what they're saying or doing. Like, what was he doing calling out? I was like, I think one of the new guys who came in is a traitor. Is like, why even do that? Your plan is working to perfection. Everybody thought that the people in the coffin who didn't get killed were a traitor. Leave it. Let your plan play out. Like, why was he doing that? And so then Rob's like, whoa. And then he gets to work. And that dude gets to work, and it's just like, we're doing it. It's time. We're doing it. It's him. But I was just like, damn.
He put in a lot of work to get him out, though. I think Bob got overconfident. He was, our plan's working. I can say whatever I want. and you can't. You really can't because people are watching what you're saying. They're listening. He was sloppy.
All right. So why don't we get into rating? Let's start with the faithfuls. Let's start with who are some of the faithfuls who you think are putting in good work right now. Who you're like, man, this is somebody who is either going to catch more traitors or is going to make it deep into the season.
Well, definitely Efron. I don't know if he'll make it far, but we know he's doing, I think we can all agree on that. He's trying to catch on. He's quick. I don't know.
Yeah, he's definitely like gaining friends and trust from people. It's going to be hard for somebody to try to convince others that he's a traitor, which is good. And as long as he gets smart, the only thing is like he trusts Danielle that she's a faithful, and he's gonna tell her, like he brought her into the rooms like, we gotta look for something in here. And I was just like, yo, you're gonna get murdered because she's gonna not get suspicious. But he definitely is so far doing good.
I would say the Bachelorette. I don't know if it's Bobby or
Gabby.
Gabby from
the one that's kind of like funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think people will keep her around because they think she's ditzy or whatever. But she did peep the bookshelf thing, and I think that's gonna be vital going down later in the game. That she did know that at least Danielle was in there, and she didn't bring it up. I wish she didn't bring it up at breakfast. I feel like she should have just told her, her friends off to themselves so they could figure it out. But I think she might be on to Danielle. If she kind of sticks to it, I think she can figure out it was Danielle.
Yeah, and
a lot of people think it's Danielle too.
Yeah, she's definitely starting to set off some alarms. I think Jeremy, who got sent home unfortunately in the coffin, was definitely on her trail. So it was good. It was a good murder by them. But Gabby was also smart not to confront whoever was walking out at that thing. She was like, let me walk out of here because I don't want the confrontation. I thought that was a good move. I probably would not have done the same. I'd be like, what are you doing in there? I don't believe you. And then like that night I'm done.
I would have waited to see everybody that came out of that bookshop. I wouldn't have been like right there. I would have been like, like down the hall and just kind of peep like who was coming that direction and just see everybody that came out that direction. Then she would have had every traitor lined up just like that. And then once Bob would have went home, then she would have known the other three were traitors.
But she's done. If they see her, they're like, all right.
Yeah, that's why staying in a room that's close to the bookshelf, but not like you're not outside. You're monitoring. You're just aware of what's going on. Like you stand by the door, but you're talking to people, but then you're just seeing who's walking from that direction. I don't want to keep glazing this guy just because he's our guy. But Wes, I think he's doing well. And his detector is not exactly on right now, but he's good at making his alliances. As a guy who came in late as one of the new guys, it seems like he integrated just nice. And we'll see. The preview showed that he's kind of cooking, or the last scene was like he was kind of cooking at the end, and we'll see if that follows through. But I think Wes so far is one of, with the two people you guys mentioned, and Wes are some of the faithful that are doing well. What about, go ahead.
I was going to say, and maybe it's a bias because I personally really love her, Brittany. You don't hear too much about her. She doesn't have a lot of talking time. But as the season goes, if she's there, we will see a lot more of her. She's extremely quick-witted. So far, what she's been playing is very quiet. Nobody's, has brought up her name. Nobody's brought up anything. And whatever, I can never remember her name, her arch enemy from Big Brother, who she voted out, got rid of, even her, she's not even talking about her. So it's kind of like she's playing the perfect game. And I wouldn't be surprised if she has already guessed like maybe one or two of them, but is playing really like strategic to get further in the game and just like, let me lay low and act like I don't really know what's going on or anything. And then when the time is right, I'll use my knowledge. So I'm hoping that's how it kind of plays out with her, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think at this stage with this many people, under the radar is the right thing. Like, just don't be calling too many people out. when you have to vote somebody at the round table, just like be super apologetic. Like, sorry, there's not like. So I think that's a good shout. Let's see if she's lying in wait. What about some of the faithful that are kind of like the worst right now? It's kind of keeping them around because they just make dumb decisions. It's almost a good idea. It's like they're not on to anybody. Any shouts there?
I think Nikki.
I mean, Sam.
Sam.
I think he's just there to be on TV to get a little money. I don't know. Like, he just starts laughing randomly at things, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing on the show, my guy? Sam is Britney Spears' ex.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say him. I would say that Vanderpump guy.
Tom Sandoval.
He looked like he's always cracked out on something, man. He is like every time you see somebody looking.
That's
like,
how he's been looking for 15 years on TV.
I don't know, man.
He's just extra.
Like guy. Yeah.
He's just so extra. That's how he is on Vanderpump. Just like always to the max on everything.
Yeah, he's useless. So he's definitely
the worst intuition. Period.
Yeah.
The worst. The worst intuition. I think his only saving grace is nobody's gonna think he's a traitor because of the way he's playing. It's just like, yo, you are the worst at this. And yeah, so I agree. This one, I kind of like am a fan of her, and then I'm like, why? Robin, I'm a fan of her housewives group. I think the Potomac Housewives is underrated for me, and I was kind of rooted for her because I kind of like her, but she's bad at this. She's so bad and so vocal about it. Too. Yeah, but she just makes the worst calls, and I feel like if you take a shot once and you miss, fall back for like a couple of round tables. But nah, she came out the next one. It's like, I think it's actually you now, and it's like, yeah, Robin, come on, and she just got fired from Housewives too. So, oh no. It's not a good look. Anybody else that we're missing that's just like,
those are really the big ones, I think, that are like, yeah.
You said Nikki, Victor. I thought she's playing all right just because she already has like a nice little alliance, and which is good when you have people who are gonna advocate for you. And I didn't think it was her fault that she just got called into the coffins. I was just like,
no, I don't think it was her fault she got into the coffin. It's more what she did after the coffin that was a little, and I guess when she was attacked, she tried to flip it back at Wes and say, oh, well, it's a strategy, but I think those strategies are usually the worst strategies in the round table because it makes you seem guilty because instead of soundly defending yourself and giving a good argument or a case, you're just saying, well, no, you're a traitor because you're accusing me. So that's the only reason why I said Nikki.
Yeah.
Doesn't that go to show us though a little bit, because her reality TV is wrestling. It's not this kind of, and I know she did the reality show with her sister and like when she was with John Cena or whatever, but it wasn't this. So it just goes to show like the training some of these people have had from their prior experiences help them a little bit more versus somebody like poor Nikki is just like, what? No, like you are like, she doesn't have that aspect yet. It's not in her to be calculated on how to respond.
You can't suplex your way out of this one, Nikki. Yeah. So. Which, like, I don't think she's playing badly, but I gotta shout my favorite, Sierra. I'm a Summer House fan. I'm a Sierra fan. Raquel's not on this episode today, so I can glaze a little bit there. Don't come at my girl Sierra. She's a nurse. She told us she can curse all she wants. She nothing is vulgar coming out of those lips. It's all fine. Let her curse. Don't come after her. Okay. All right. Sermon done. Let's switch over to the Traitors, the stars of the show. What do you guys think about their performance so far? Do you like their kills? Do you think they're going about it the right way?
I do, except for I have the same problem with season 2 as this season. Dan last season and Rob, Boston Rob, or whatever they call him, you played so meticulous on your season. So anyone that has played with you or has watched you knows what to look for. And I think they both forgot that. I think 100% Dan thought he could just do the same exact thing he did on Big Brother, which is exactly what he did, which was why it was so easy. If you ever watched the season, oh, you're a traitor for sure, because you're playing a very vindictive role. And then we're seeing that with Rob now.
He was, sorry, Dan on his season, he was like very quiet and then like do anything, and he just kind of coasted.
Every time you thought he should be voted off, because you're like, what the hell? He's pulling all these strings, he's convincing people, but because he's so quiet and innocent, and he like so socially awkward too, that people are like, there's no way he's making calls. But in reality, he was making all the calls. He was convincing people, and he would just like sit in their beds and be like, yeah, it's crazy that, you know, she said that. And they're like, she said that? And he's like, oh, I thought you knew. I'm sorry. No, I don't want to cause trouble. And because he's so weird, you almost believe it. Like, oh, like, you know, he didn't mean to do it. And like, please don't say anything. You know, I don't like confrontation. So he would skate by getting his way. And that's what he was trying to do here. I'm just being quiet. As soon as he said that, I was like, yeah, you if you watched his season, you knew what he was doing. Like, and that's what I feel like Rob. He's playing exactly like he did on Survivor, forgetting that people are all like, hold up, hold on, slow it down. And I think that's what Wes just saw. He was like,
you're way too confident.
Yeah, you're too confident. Yeah. Now he is going to turn it around on Wes for sure and be like, well, you know, or whatever. I think an easier target would be Derek from Big Brother, you know, to go after, because he was also a very amazing player who played the good guy, you know, and he's a detective that never said on the show, nobody knew he was. He lied about his profession. And so he can read people very well because he has all those years of being a detective or whatever. So I think it's easier to pin it on him than Wes, but I think both Derek and Wes know Rob is. I think 100% they could tell.
Yeah, I think so. At first, when Rob heard what Bob had said and decided, you're not good for my game, I got to get you out, I was just like, I was in agreement. The one problem, I guess it's like, I guess he had to do it, was the fact that he led the conversation in the roundtable rather than letting like Dylan go at Bob and just like played it in the background. But the fact that Rob was the one that like leading the charge put a bigger target on his back to say, hey, I'm so sure it's this guy, and I'm telling everybody you guys should vote for him. It raised some red flags. So like, and like you said, he has a reputation of like, I guess the bravado is part of it, the confidence, the adamance. But in this game, when you like seem like you know too much and you're so confident, there's only one person or like group of people who know this much, and it's the traitors themselves. So I think it could come back to bite him in the ass. So by far, he is the best traitor, but he might have played his card too soon.
Yeah, I think it. Go ahead.
No, so I think it was desperation. I don't think Bob the drag queen had to go right then and there. I think it could have waited another day. I mean, Rob was safe. Nobody was gonna vote him out at that moment. I think he just felt threatened, and he was like, I need to get him out quick. I think he was scared, and I think that's gonna cost him later on in the game, because like you said, the only way for that to have happened was he needed to lead the charge, and he needed to be so adamant about saying it was. And I think because it was Rob, it shocked Bob to get him to act the way he did. You know, the reaction, the shock, the super shocked face, where everybody probably saw it and was like, that seems kind of guilty. So I think if it wasn't for him, you know, like you said, taking the charge and saying it's you, he wouldn't have got him out. But like you said, he put a target on his back. So, and people are starting to notice that.
A little bit of a panic move.
He literally said, I'm not going to be the one to bring it up. I'm going to have him, the other guy, bring it up. And that's not what happened. So as soon as he said, you know, I have da-da-da, and he's like leading it, I was like, oh, you're done. You're done. These other big players who, you know, can recognize this are watching this. And then like Victor, like you said, you know, Bob's reaction of just being like, like, you're telling on me? Like, how could you? We're best friends. Like, you know, like, oh no. So yeah, you guys are working together.
But it can be a classic Phaedra Dan incident where Dan snitched on Phaedra like by putting his name, over there. Same thing could apply here to where they're like, all right, well, we know Bob was a traitor. Now let's see who Bob interacted with, like all this other stuff. And it's easy to say, he led the charge on Bob. Bob voted him, so let's try Dan next,
Yeah.
How about Danielle? How do we think she's doing as a traitor?
No. Yeah. I mean, maybe it is good, but it seems horrible. She just doesn't know when to shut up. Like, just, you're saying too much.
Way too dramatic. Way too dramatic. Like, I can't believe this person went home or that. And it's not like she's from Big Brother, so it's not like I would expect that from like a housewife or one of the other Bravo celebrities. But from a Big Brother player, I would look at that and be like, you're a little too extra for me here. You're putting a little too much extra sauce on that. And I would start to get suspicious.
They said even her face is always like worried. Like she always has this worried expression on her face. I was like, yeah, it's all right.
I wonder if the producers, like, what kind of background checks, like mental background checks do they do on these people? And I don't mean that in a mean way, but the fact that she was on Big Brother like 10 years ago or 7 years ago and still crying about it, like, it makes me a little nervous. Like, she's the type that, like, she ain't ever gonna let that go. Like, I don't know. Like, if Brittany votes for her, she's gonna show up to her door with a knife or something. Like, you did it already once, don't do it again or something. I don't know. She scares me a little bit. Yeah.
So Bob, I thought he was doing good at first. And then he just got a little bit too big for his britches there.
Yeah.
Literal britches.
Wait, what?
Well, I'm sure he wears britches, right? That's what I'm saying.
Maybe. His wardrobe, I'm not even going to try to guess what was the name. He's the drag queen. So I was like, he probably had all types of contraptions. But yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, was he the best? Was he the worst? He got found out first, but I don't know.
I don't think he's the worst. I don't think he's the best. I think he could have done better had he controlled himself a little bit better in situations. Then again, we know this is a really hard show, so I think you just start getting, but I do think some of the things he was doing at first, were fine. It kind of works with his personality, the boisterousness. So if he came in and was too quiet, it would also be weird. So I can't even knock him for being so boisterous, so out there, because that's his personality. But yeah, I think he just started getting too confident and just saying like that whole thing, like, yeah, one of the new guys, must be, like, why are you even saying that? And why are you saying it in such a big group setting? Like, if you're sitting and talking to somebody and they're like, yeah, I really feel like it, sure, add on so it seems like, you're on their side. In the long run, it helps you, but not in the whole damn group setting for no reason. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There was that, and there was also when they were in the secret room writing the list, and the other traders are like, well, we don't want anybody to know we're in here. And he's like, no, it's fine. And he starts like talking so loud. I'm like, what is your logic there, bro? Like, you want them to find you in the secret room? Like, I don't know. He had the good personality to be convincing, but he didn't have the right strategic mind for it. And it's just like, that was a dangerous combination.
Yeah, I mean, he was very likable. Everybody liked him for the most part. The women, none of them wanted to vote him out. It's like, oh, that's just Bob. I mean, even if they suspected him, they still didn't want to vote him out because they liked him so much. So he was in a great position to make it to the end. He just ran his mouth way too much. Too many times he said something he didn't need to say. He just got too comfortable. He enjoyed the power a little too much.
And then we have Carolyn. Nobody's listening to Carolyn. She supposedly has all, the best ideas and nobody listens to her. Cap, no cap. Is she secretly the best trader, or is she just like taking up space?
Watching her is hard overall. It's very, very hard to watch her. I'm just going to put that out there. And you're right, nobody listens to her when she talks because she's all over the place. I don't think they just kind of ignore her like she's some kind of like stepchild and push her off to the side. And and you see it in her face all the time. She's like somebody look at me, somebody pay attention to me. And I thought she would have tried to get up somebody. I knew she was in agreement in getting Bob out, because that's one less person. She might have a voice now that he's gone. So I knew she was gonna be down for that to get him out. But it's just I think nobody's gonna suspect her though, because Nora said it earlier. She's so like everything, like she's just all over.
That's like her
all the time.
Her standard.
Yeah, her baseline is crazy.
Baseline, yeah.
She's gonna be crazy regardless. Like if she does something crazy, people are just gonna be like, "That's just Carolyn," you know. And then, so I think she's in a great position. Now. Any of the moves she's made, I don't think she's really made good moves. I mean, she did speak against moves they shouldn't make.
That was my favorite part of that first one. She's like, I don't think we should. And Danielle's like, you're talking a lot, but you still haven't told me why we shouldn't do this. And I'm like,
I was dying.
I was like, damn, cooked. She cooked her.
It was like it's 2 against 1. She wasn't getting through that.
She wasn't saying shit. Like,
Yeah.
She's just like, I don't. It doesn't. I'm like, she looks like somebody who's clean, but this close to relapsing. Like any second. She's
Exactly,
just like,
yo.
What's the definition of clean? Exactly.
I mean, she moved to softer stuff, but she's this close to picking up the hard stuff.
She stresses me out. Like, and it's nothing personal because she's probably a nice person, whatever. But watching her, man, I feel stressed. Like, I feel overstimulated watching her, and she's not even really doing much or saying much. It's just her, like, everything requires so much movement and such weird, like, emotional, like, reactions in her face. Like,
she looks like she puts her makeup on, like, shaking too.
Yes,
like, it's all
some Harley Quinn level shit.
Yeah, like, if she has something medical, I feel horrible that I'm saying it, but just, like, I feel like if I was in the house, I'd be voted out because all I would do is just stare at her with, like, and because I'd be like, what the hell? Stop moving around. You're like, I don't know. It stresses me out. Like, why are you moving like that? Like she's, like, off her interview chair when they're trying to interview her. She's like, yeah, and they don't listen to me, and she's, like, gone. Like, girl, sit down. Like, and I move a lot. I can't ever be comfortable, so I understand it, but
she takes it to the next level. She's next level with it. So it comes down to I have a few questions for you guys. Who do you think is the next faithful to get murdered?
Oof, almost, and I don't want it to be because I find her funny. I feel like Robin, just because she is throwing out so many things. Like, she's like, I feel like it's gonna be like, they're gonna be like, oh hell no, she's gotta go because she's just throwing out too many things, unless she keeps throwing them off their track. But I feel like eventually she's gonna hit, she's going one by one on people.
I think the opposite. I think, like you said at the end, I think she's not saying shit. She doesn't have anybody's name. She's saying random people, it looks like. So I'd keep her in there so she could throw out these dumb accusations, and then I
agree. It's that's the smart move, where the people with the worst intuition, like Robin, Sandoval, keep them because they're just gonna be off.
Yeah.
Dylan should go, but Rob isn't gonna let go of Dylan because Dylan has
his trust.
Has his trust now, and so, but overall, Dylan should go because I think he's the most dangerous of the faithful. But I don't think he's going next. I think it'll be somebody just to throw off suspicion.
Danielle also and him are cool, so I think she'll be like, no, I got him. Like I still think the triumvirate, what are they, the Bambi squad?
Mm-hmm.
I think the doe eyes.
Yeah.
And Sierra, like those people, they got eyes on them. I think one of them is at risk. Whoever doesn't have a shield, because I still think after the headstone challenge, those people still have the shield at night. But I can't exactly remember who is safe or who's not. But I think one of those ladies, unfortunately, is in trouble. But we'll see.
Did Chriselle? I don't think she got a shield, or maybe she did.
Yeah, I can't remember. And my assumption is, like, to be honest, it's kind of unfair, but like mostly it's guys getting the shields because they're doing like those challenges. So
yeah. So
I think Dylan is actually safe, but for the next one after that, if he like starts to catch on, like season 2, those Pete the pilot, Fergies, when they start to sniff these people out, they get killed quick.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is the next traitor to get found out?
I was gonna say Rob, but I'm torn between him and Danielle because they both have suspicion on him. And I feel like if Rob is getting suspicion on him, he'll throw Danielle under the bus 100%. Yeah. Wes is on to him. I don't think Wes is going to make a move so soon until he's sure of the numbers. But at the same time, he's still new, so I think he's still kind of filling out the game. I think that little group that Wes was talking to towards the end might try to get Rob out. I don't know if they'll have the numbers, but I think the next traitor out is probably going to be Danielle.
I agree.
Yeah. I think Rob definitely has a target in his back now, but because of the last vote and them getting Bob out, I don't think they're going to have the numbers. I think people are going to trust them. They're going to be like, nah, that's not Rob. And Danielle wasn't happy with that vote. She wasn't happy that they voted Bob out, and I think she's going to try to make a move that actually, maybe not the next episode, but the episode like after that, it's going to come back to bite her in the ass, and she'll get found out. Because if I'm pitting her up against Rob to be cool, calm, and collected and execute a move, is not her. So
no,
I think it's in her and Caroline's, right? I think her name.
Carolyn.
Best interest to get rid of Rob, because there's no way Rob is gonna finish this game with both of them.
But there's no way those two can. They're not calculated enough, I don't think, to be able to pull that off. I think if you put either one of them in the hot seat at that round table, I don't think they can strike unless they have enough people already behind them. Yeah. Could you imagine one of them like going against him without the numbers, without knowing where the numbers lie? I think they would just break down.
See, the thing that they would have to do is somehow get into that group with Wes, who are like suspicious now, and support their suspicion without being extra, and let them take the charge and just be one of their numbers. But I don't know if that takes some nuance, and I don't know if they got that. Carolyn would be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And it's just like, I don't know if she has. So we'll see. We'll see. Any closing thoughts?
I think this was my favorite roundtable from all the seasons. Like, it was epic. I mean, I didn't, even at the end of it, I didn't know if Rob was going home or Bob was going home. I didn't know if they had the numbers, if he was convinced or not. I think it was just the pure chaos of it, and the different people getting brought up, and the theatrics, and Bob's reactions, and then him going back out, him swearing to God, only to later say, I don't believe in God. I was like, yo, this guy is wilding. I mean, I thought it was one of the best roundtables in a while. It was crazy. It was crazy. Even Ari had a little smile on his face at the end. I saw it. I peeped him. Usually he's
Alan? You mean Alan?
Alan, yeah, why call him Ali?
I'm like, where are you getting Ari from?
He likes to give him a fancy name.
No, I think maybe he played that in a show I watched. So anyway, but yeah.
You mean Floops Fluglies from Spy Kids? Floops Fluglies?
I saw him from Good Wife.
The Good Wife. Oh, is he Ari on The Good Wife? He's probably just like
he was
Jacob.
He was a lawyer, like a fixer. He probably got his name wrong too. But no, even he had a little smile on his face when like that was a crazy round table. It was good.
Yeah. All right. So to listeners out there, let us know who you think's the next traitor to get voted out. Who you think is the next faithful to get axed, and we'll see.
One last question. Who will be the next person if they bring in another traitor? Who are they going to vote in? Who are they going to bring in? That'll be interesting if we're going to stay at 4 traitors, or are we going to just stay at 3 now? And who should they bring in?
I have to give that some thought. So, to my fellow traitors, keep killing.
I can't do it that quick. I have too much hair.
To my hat's the wrong way. Now this is not a good look. I got 2 points. All right, bye.